Hello everybody, it's Foo here, and after a brief hiatus because I was focusing on Let's Go content, I'm bringing back this overlooked buff videos which I really enjoy. Got to have another look at my precious overlooked Pokemon, and today I will be talking about Bellossom. I really hope you enjoy this video, and if you do, please consider liking. It really helps me work out which content you like, but if not, that's fine. So this Pokemon may already be on your radar because of its recent changes and buffs. I'll analyse them in detail to show you that there are really reasons why these buffs actually give Bellossom a huge advantage over other Pokemon, because really previously it's not had a niche, and I'll go into that just now. So what is Bellossom like before it gets its Gen 7 buffs? Well, it's a pure grass type that was introduced in Generation 2, and at the time it was one of the few pure grass types. It's pretty nice defensive typing with important resistances to ground and water, although it does have quite a few weaknesses too. It was actually the second evolution that Gloom was granted besides Vileplume, and it's the more defensive of the two. Vileplume has a higher special attack stat, whereas Bellossom has higher defenses. However, because Vileplume has dual typing with poison, it's actually a better defensive Pokemon anyway because of the resistances that the poison type grants it. So that's kind of annoying for Bellossom, having the better stats for a defensive build, but actually the worst typing. All in all, despite its decent defensive stats, Bellossom didn't really excel at anything. There are loads of bulky grass types, so it didn't stand out in that department. And it does actually also have the ability Chlorophyll, but there are much better Chlorophyll sweepers like Venusaur and Vitribell, and because it doesn't have a secondary typing to spam offensively, grass really limits it. So all in all, prior to Generation 7, Bellossom wasn't used all that much at all. So what about these buffs? Well, the first one we're going to talk about is Strength SAP was added as an egg move, only available in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And that's really great news for Bellossom, because what Strength SAP does is it heals Bellossom equal to the opponent's attack stat. And if you're going up against something that's a really strong physical attacker, that means you can get pretty much a full heal with this move, which is amazing. At the same time, it drops the opponent's physical attack stat by one stage, which means that any incoming attacks are going to be doing less damage. Although that does mean that your subsequent Strength SAPs won't recover quite as much health because their attack has been dropped. This is such a good recovery move. It does already have recovery in Synthesis and Moonlight, but Strength SAP is generally a much better one, and also helps Bellossom take on those physical threats. So even if you are a specially defensive wolf, Strength SAP's really good because it means that if they have a physical attacker switch in, you can actually deal with them too. However, at the same time, Vileplume also got this move, and with that poison typing, it's already a better defensive wall, and Vileplume also has aromatherapy, which Bellossom doesn't get for some reason. Bellossom looking very flowery too. I don't really understand why Vileplume gets aromatherapy and Bellossom doesn't. So in terms of a dedicated wall set, a cleric and everything, Vileplume is definitely still the better option. So does this buff really change very much? Well, maybe it makes Bellossom a bit more viable, but still probably not the go-to out of the two Pokemon. But it's more options, and I'll get to why actually this is a really important buff. The second buff we're going to be talking about is Bellossom actually now gets Quiver Dance as a level up move. Quiver Dance is one of the best setup moves in the game because it boosts 3 stats simultaneously. You get a special attack boost, a special defense boost, and a speed boost. All of this is fantastic for enabling a sweep because you get that speed boost to outspeed your opponents, you get a power boost with your special attack, meaning that you can take them out before they can deal any damage. And even if they do survive your attacks, you've got that special defense boost to make sure that you can tank more hits, you can't be revenged as easily, and that's so neat for Bellossom. It really appreciates the special attack boost, it does need that. The only issue is that Bellossom is still pretty slow, so you'll need at least 2 Quiver Dance to get any speed going at all. Even if you max out your speed stat, you still will be outsped by Choice Scarfers at +2 speed, so that's not great. And bearing in mind that we already have a mono grass Quiver Dancer in Lilligant that's faster and more powerful than Bellossom, really as an offensive threat, Lilligant is always going to win out over Bellossom. So on the face of it, Lilligant definitely makes for a better Quiver Dancer. So does this Quiver Dance buff really help Bellossom out all that much? We've seen Strength SAP isn't really all that it needed, and Quiver Dance doesn't really add up to much on its own either. It's actually when you put these two moves together and you put that in the context of a meta with Z moves that Bellossom really shines as a bulky setup set with Z Strength SAP. Now what Z Strength SAP does is it gives Bellossom +1 defense as well as the usual healing and attack dropping effects of Strength SAP, and combine that with Quiver Dance, which is boosting your special defense. You've got buffs on both sides of the defensive spectrum, meaning that Bellossom is going to be really, really hard to take down. That means that you can easily get up multiple Quiver Dances, so you can patch up that shaky speed stat, you can get that special attack boosted through the roof, and that allows for Bellossom to really shine. No other Pokemon can perform this as well as Bellossom does in terms of bulky setup, which I really, really love. And why I like it so much is it's quite a technical set to use. You need to know what threats to remove on your opponent's team before this will work. You need to know when is your opportune time to start this setup, but when you get going, this is just a steamroller that will go straight through your opponent's team and clean up. In terms of the set, it's best to max out Bellossom's HP stat and then actually max out its speed, because it really needs some investment to be outspeeding anything even at +2 or 3 speed. But when you do that, you've definitely got the bulk. In combination with Strength SAP and Quiver Dance, the opponent's really going to struggle to take you down. And then you've got your grass type move, either Giga Drain to give you some more recovery, or you can even run Energy Ball here if you want to, and that actually pairs up quite nicely with the Grassium Z for Strength SAP, because if you feel like you're not going to get the chance to sweep with this set, instead of going for Z Strength SAP, you can also always go for a strong Bloom Doom, which is better with the higher base power of Energy Ball. And then in the final slot, you can either go for some coverage like Moonblast to hit Dragon types or Sludge Bomb to hit other grass types, or you can go for Safeguard, which I think is really cool because it means your opponents can't Toxic you, which is potentially one of the only ways that they have left to take you out at the end of the battle. So that's really neat to avoid any status. They can't paralyze you to stop your sweep. I think that's really cool, and I really like the Safeguard set because it basically means that Bellossom becomes invincible. So I really, really love this set, and I love how it gives Bellossom a real niche. With just Strength SAP or just Quiver Dance, it didn't add up to enough, but when you put them together and give that Z move defense boost, this thing really shines, and I love that. I think it's so cool and such an interesting Pokemon to use now. So this is the best that Bellossom has ever been, and if you are interested in using a Bellossom, if you like this Pokemon, definitely try this set out because it can do some real work. Please let me know what you think of this set. Please let me know what you think of Bellossom in general, or if you think there are any other sets that you like to use. But that's my verdict on Bellossom. As I said, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on the video and consider subscribing for more content like this, because I will be bringing you more of this in the very short future. That's all for today. I've been Fufu, you've been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.